The XFL is one of the most interesting leagues in spring football history. Granted, spring football isn't super popular, but from its over the top beginnings to its eventual merger with the USFL, there's a lot to look back on. Today, we're going to take a look at the history of the league as we build the most extreme football league. 2001, this fucking freak decided he was going to make a sports entertainment football league. Similar to the WWF, it had an over-the-top presentation with wacky rules, custom nameplates, and boldly named teams, including the Birmingham Thunderbolts, Chicago Enforcers, New York Hitmen, Orlando Rage, Las Vegas Outlaws, Los Angeles Extreme, Memphis Maniacs, and San Francisco Demons. These teams would play one season until they would file for bankruptcy, and it would take almost 2 decades for this fucking freak.
And quite frankly, we're going to give the game of football back to fans.
All right. In the revival for the former Extra Fun League, the teams leaned a little less into the extreme factor with the Dallas Renegades, DC Defenders, Houston Roughnecks, LA Wildcats, New York Guardians, Seattle Dragons, St. Louis Battlehawks, and Tampa Bay Vipers. 2020 season would end up getting shut down only 5 games in due to the pandemic, leading to the league to file for bankruptcy in April of that year. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, alongside his business partner Danny Garcia, comes in to buy the XFL from his former boss. Their approach to the league was more of a minor league approach with the Player 54 initiative and the collaboration agreement with the NFL in 2022 to essentially position the XFL as a developmental league. When they kicked off that year, they would return some familiar names like the DC Defenders, Houston Roughnecks, St. Louis Battlehawks, and Seattle, adding some C to their Dragons. The Vipers moved to Vegas, and the Guardians moved to Orlando, and finally, the San Antonio Brahmas, a new team inspired by The Rock's signature Brahma Bull. These teams would play until their eventual merger with the USFL in 2024, where they would become the UFL. And that's the latest that we've seen of the XFL, unless you count the XFL division within the UFL, but as a standalone league, not really, until today. Because I'm going to take all of these teams over the course of the league's history and create a big XFL, an XFL XL, if you will. So there's 2 ways that we can go about it. First, we can just go with an OG XFL conference and a modern XFL conference, but...
Yeah!
So how I'll be aligning this is with 2 conferences, the East and the West, each having 2 divisions of 4 teams, but since there's 17 teams available across the 2 iterations, one of them is going to have to be having 5 teams. I hate it, but it has to be done. But starting with the West Conference, in the Pacific Division, we have the Seattle Sea Dragons, San Francisco Demons, Los Angeles Extreme, Los Angeles Wildcats. We'll get some built-in rivalries out of the gate with the 3 California teams, one being an inner-city beef in LA, and each of them getting some trips up to Seattle, who rounds out our West Coast kind of division. Moving to the Southwest, we have the Vegas Vipers, Las Vegas Outlaws, Arlington Renegades, Houston Roughnecks, and San Antonio Brahmas. It kills me that this division is uneven from the rest, but it's only made up of 2 states. The Vipers and the Outlaws have a Sin City showdown, while the Renegades, Roughnecks, and Brahmas all battle for supremacy in the Lone Star State. Moving to the East Conference, in the South Division, we have the Memphis Maniacs, Birmingham Thunderbolts, Orlando Guardians, and Orlando Rage. Our 3rd inner-city rivalry here in Orlando between the Guardians and the Rage, while the Maniacs and the Thunderbolts are only a quick road trip apart. Closing it out in the North Division, we have the St. Louis Battlehawks, Chicago Enforcers, New York Hitmen, and DC Defenders. A little St. Louis and Chicago matchup with the Battlehawks and Enforcers, while the Hitmen and Defenders already mix well just by their names. As far as rules, just use the recent XFL ones, don't use the OG ones. But that's going to do it for my Extreme XL XFL League. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and if it were up to you, how would you do it? That's all I've got for you guys today, so until the next video, see you later.